At his brother's wedding, Luke introduces his girlfriend Emily to the groom Theo. Afterward, the man invites his girlfriend to dance, but things soon get intimate between them, so the two end up continuing in the bathroom. Things turn awkward when Emily realizes she just had her time of the month. Giggling, the two clean themselves up until Luke accidentally drops a ring from his pocket. This leaves him no choice but to propose to Emily in the bathroom, and she accepts. With that, the two sneak out of the party through the bathroom window, avoiding people from seeing them in their messy looks. In the morning, Emily texts her mother about her engagement. The couple then prepares for work, though the woman leaves her engagement ring. The two then part ways, but as Emily gets on the elevator, Luke catches up and talks to her like an acquaintance. He even asks her how her weekend was despite spending those days together. The two proceed to their workstations as analysts for a competitive hedge fund, acting as if they barely know each other. That afternoon, one of their portfolio managers, Quinn, goes on a rampage and destroys his office until security takes him away. Everyone simply watches the scene, while some are even amused by it. After this, the employees start gossiping about the event. Emily focuses on her task but stops when she overhears someone mentioning that the CEO was talking about Luke, leading them to speculate that he'll get Quinn's job. Immediately, she goes to him, pretending to give him a report. She whispers to him the news, and as if to prove her theory, they spot the CEO Campbell looking over at Luke's desk like he's contemplating his promotion. Excited about this, the two get intimate as soon as they're home. Luke then wonders if Emily is jealous of his promotion. She assures him that she isn't, so he jokes that he'd choose the promotion over her. The man also wants to marry her soon, so Emily points out that they'd have to let their company know about the relationship. She knows that she'll be judged for their relationship more than he will, so Luke thinks it isn't the right time for them to reveal that they've been breaking company policy. However, Emily worries that someone might find out. The man assures her that they can reveal the relationship without risking their jobs once they both get promoted. That night, the couple wakes to Emily's portfolio manager, Rory, calling her to meet him at a bar. Curious, the woman goes, only to find that the man waiting for her is Campbell instead. This makes the woman nervous, but she joins him for drinks anyway. Campbell starts acknowledging the woman's achievements, including an article she wrote that was published in the Wall Street Journal when she was a teen and how she made the big calls in her department last quarter. With that, he gives her the good news. Hours later, Emily returns to her apartment nervously. She tells Luke that Campbell was the one who invited her to the bar, and immediately, her fiancé suspects that their boss tried to touch her. She tells him that he didn't before reluctantly revealing that she's the one being promoted, not him. After a moment, Luke congratulates her, but the woman feels guilty for taking the job from him. The man embraces her and assures her that he's happy for her. The next day, Emily turns heads as she makes her way to her new office. Her former manager Rory even congratulates her. However, gossip starts circulating about how Emily got the promotion since many of their coworkers don't like the idea of a woman being the manager. Later, Emily attends a meeting where she encourages the CEO to buy shares that others have overlooked. Despite the other manager's doubts, Campbell agrees. After this, she asks Luke to do the reports, revealing that he's working under her now. Moments later, the woman continuously asks her fiancé for updates, but he starts taking his time between replies. She turns to see him staring blankly at his monitor before responding to her, making the woman wonder why he paused. That night, Emily answers her mother's call, and the woman congratulates her on her engagement. Emily asserts that she can't tell anyone else, pointing out that since she just got promoted, the idea of her dating one of her analysts will look suspicious. Emily soon arrives home but is confused that her fiancé hasn't returned. She finds him at a nearby bar where he claims to be celebrating for her. However, he still asks if their boss tried to do anything with her, making Emily wonder if he's also questioning how she got promoted. Worried, she promises to help him get the next promotion, hinting that Rory is in trouble with their CEO, so he might get fired as well. This offends Luke, so he coldly tells her that he can get the job on his own. Emily tells him that she just wants to help so things will work out for them faster. With this in mind, Emily hands Luke an account to look into when they get to work tomorrow, hoping that his task will get Campbell's attention. Luke hesitates, so the woman reminds him what they're working towards, making him relent. The two end up working overtime as Luke finishes up the report. Ultimately, he recommends that she approve the account, so Emily relays this to Campbell and a senior executive Paul as they pass by her office. However, the two aren't impressed, given that Luke once lost them $15 million. With that, Campbell reminds the woman to trust her own instinct, not her analysts. Hearing this, Luke leaves the office in a foul mood. Over drinks, Emily still tries to talk him up to their superiors, only to discover that Campbell has been waiting for Luke to quit. The man was only hired as a favor, but they've decided that Luke isn't cut out for this career. Meanwhile, Luke receives an advertisement for a leadership program, so he starts watching the videos until Emily drunkenly returns home. The woman sympathizes with how Campbell talked about him earlier, but her fiancé brushes it off. She then checks what he's watching and comments that the program is asking for a lot of money for something Luke already knows. The man disagrees at first, then decides to turn the laptop off to focus on his fiancé. Emily then tries seducing him, but Luke just kisses her goodnight before heading to bed. The next day, Luke barely pays attention to Emily but sees the perks she has for her promotion, like getting a company car when he still has to take the train. She also befriends Paul and Campbell, furthering his hidden jealousy over her promotion. She soon invites him on a fancy date, but Luke refuses, saying that he has a lot to do to keep up. Because of this, Emily has her expensive dinner alone, drowning her loneliness with wine. When she goes home later, she sees that he has already bought the leadership program materials, so Luke defends that he got a discount. Emily jokes that he got fooled by the discount despite being a financial analyst, and this offends Luke. He comments that she could learn from the program, given that she isn't assertive and doesn't dress like a boss. Emily raises an eyebrow at this comment, so Luke explains that she dresses like she's trying to attract people. Emily scoffs at this, though it still makes her think twice about her wardrobe the next day. She dresses more conservatively and tries to be more assertive during a meeting, only for Rory to point out her mistakes. Apparently, the plan she tried suggesting was Luke's idea, so she later tells him to finish another analysis she ordered. Luke insists that his plan is still the right call, and manipulates her by saying that this will be the deal that'll push both their careers forward. After much thought, Emily decides to trust him. She later takes a break, feeling nervous about going against her gut. She then decides not to let Luke's comment affect her, so she quickly buys a new blouse she's more comfortable with before returning to the office. Upon arriving, however, she learns that Luke's deal failed and cost the company $25 million. Emily berates him, pointing out that she told him to finish the analysis before making a move, but he defends that other firms were investing in that account. She then goes to Paul and Campbell, promising to recover the money, but the CEO humiliates her for trusting the analyst. Despite this, Emily rushes back to work, searching for a trade to recover the money that Luke lost. Luke does the same and calls up a friend from another company. That night, Emily drinks at the bar alone when Luke joins her, telling her that he learned about a company's imminent downfall, which they can take advantage of. However, Emily refuses to risk her job by using insider information. She already has plans to invest in a different company, and despite it being riskier, she prefers to do things the right way. Still, Luke begs her to let him fix his mistake. Emily spends the following day doing more research about Luke's plan. Having made a decision, she invites Campbell to talk that night. Before receiving a reply, she gets a message from an unknown number and discovers that her mother has been talking about her engagement. Frustrated, the woman invites her fiancé to sleep together. Luke refuses, but she points out that they haven't even celebrated their engagement yet, so they need to reignite their passion. Convinced, Luke makes out with his fiancé but struggles to perform. This leaves Emily disappointed and concerned. Just then, Campbell calls her, so she immediately tells him her plan to invest in a different company's collapse, believing that it'll regain their loss. The CEO agrees it's risky, but Emily assures him that she's confident in this. Having heard that she went against his idea, Luke is speechless. Immediately the following day, Emily checks the news and learns that her risky move paid off. This earns her the trust of her coworkers, including Campbell. She even receives $500,000 in commission, which surprises her. She messages Luke to invite him to celebrate, but the man ignores her. Feeling resentful, she agrees to go out with Paul and the other managers instead. At first, she's uncomfortable with the men's locker room talk, but soon proves to her coworkers that she can handle such conversations, impressing them. Because of this, Emily comes home drunk again. She shares the stories the men told her, thinking it'll make her fiancé laugh. However, when she empties her bag, she accidentally leaves the check for her commission on the counter for Luke to see. She tries getting together with him again, but he refuses again. This leads Emily to call him pathetic, so Luke fires back, pointing out that she's acting as if she's one of the guys when she looks like the woman they hire for fun. The comment leaves the woman in tears. Luke continues seething in his hatred for Emily's success the next day, more so when he overhears one of the managers talking about how much she spent in the club last night. Just then, everyone notices Rory getting fired, giving Luke hope that he'll get the man's job. He quickly tells Emily to recommend him for Rory's replacement. She scoffs at his audacity for making such a request after what he said last night, but Luke refuses to apologize and insists on getting Rory's job. When she refuses to help, he goes up to the CEO and declares how Campbell inspired and taught him about finance when he was a guest speaker at his university. He altered his entire life to follow in Campbell's footsteps. So with the whole office watching, the man kneels before his boss and announces his loyalty if he gets the promotion. However, Campbell reveals that he already hired a new portfolio manager, humiliating Luke. That evening, Emily checks in on her drunk fiancé, but he just complains that her mother has been calling him. Cornered, Emily calls her mother, and the woman tells her that they're throwing them an engagement party. Emily argues that they're not ready, but her mother insists that she already booked everything. This conversation is interrupted when Luke realizes that the notes he made for the leadership program are gone. Emily wonders if she accidentally threw them out while cleaning, so Luke accuses her of throwing away his career. She thinks the program is messing with his head, so Luke accuses her of having things handed to her. Offended, Emily points out that she worked hard for her career. Campbell starts calling her, but Luke takes her phone away, asserting that the CEO keeps bothering her at night because she lets him walk all over her. Emily shoots back that he's the one who's been walking all over her. Luke yells that he's been supportive and blames her for stealing his job. Amidst the argument, Emily finally reveals that Campbell wanted to fire Luke, not promote him. This breaks Luke, so he storms out. Her fiancé doesn't go to work or return home for the next 2 days, leaving Emily distracted during a meeting. Still, she pushes through with her presentation, only to find a drunk Luke finally arriving at the office. He storms into the meeting room and berates Campbell for looking down on him. He even questions Campbell's control of his own company, pointing out that his employees hate him. To prove this, he reveals his relationship with Emily just before security arrives to send him away. Horrified and humiliated, Emily rushes home but doesn't find her fiancé there. She then calls Theo on her way to the engagement party and learns that Luke told his brother that he will still attend the event. The woman goes to the venue and confronts her fiancé, accusing him of planning to break up with her in front of their family and friends. His mother suddenly congratulates them for their engagement and promotion since Luke told her that they were both managers now. Emily laughs at this, clarifying that she fired Luke from her team today. The man fights back, loudly accusing her of seducing their boss to get promoted. His mockery drives the woman mad, so she slams a bottle at his head before retreating to the bathroom. Luke follows her and continues to berate her for getting promoted since she's an attractive woman. He claims that he's the one who had it difficult since his job was at risk from the beginning. She points out that she's not the one who came from money and reminds him that she celebrated when they thought he was getting the promotion. She didn't feel threatened like he does now because he's the one who can't accept that she was better at the job. Emily then calls him a coward, and the man pushes her. Suddenly, all the tension drives the two to start making love. However, Luke gets too aggressive, so Emily tells him to stop, but he doesn't listen until he's finished. Realizing what he just done, Luke just watches his ex-fiancée as she quietly leaves afterward. Emily walks back home, humiliated and broken as her life has fallen apart. She wakes up late the following day and finds that she's been bruised from the encounter with Luke. Still, she fixes herself up and meets with Campbell. To save her career, Emily claims that she was never in a relationship with Luke because he was stalking her. She didn't report him because she was scared of what he'd do if she did. Campbell believes her and just reminds her that they shouldn't bring their dirt to the office since their clients want a clean floor. With that, he advises Emily to let human resources handle the mess and assures her that Luke's career is over. He then hints that taking accountability is irrelevant when they can still push on with their jobs. This gives her the idea that he knows the truth but ignores it so she can keep working for him. Eventually, Emily returns to work and sees a new woman taking over Luke's job, making her look back on how she started. When she gets home that night, Emily finds that Luke has packed his belongings. As he tells her his plans, the nervous woman accidentally drops some dining ware and wounds herself while picking them up. The man ignores this and shares that he's planning to start his own firm with his brother's boss. Emily tells him she doesn't care since he hasn't apologized for what he did the other night. Luke doesn't think he did anything wrong, so she points out her wounds to prove it. The man defends that they both got carried away, so they should forget about it. Seeing what kind of man he has become, Emily cries. However, as she looks down, she stops her tears and declares that she won't just forget. She grabs a knife and berates her ex for acting like things are normal when he's been breaking her since she got promoted. Aiming the blade at him, Emily orders him to beg for mercy. Luke tries to grab the knife, but she slices his hand. Realizing that she's serious, the man does as he's told. begging for forgiveness and admitting that he's nothing compared to her. With him on his knees, Luke breaks down, finally acknowledging everything he'd done to the woman he supposedly loved. As he cries, Emily leans forward and orders him to clean up his blood from her floor and leave her life for good. She then sighs in relief, finally discovering her assertive side and reclaiming control over her life.